Very good morning, everyone. Myself is Virender Sharma. Welcome to Vajiram Ravi Public Administration Optional Discussions. In the today's discussion, we will try to mainly emphasize upon what is public administration, why to choose public administration as an optional, how to prepare for this, and when generally to start. These are the four major dimensions. What I expect is you are also expecting from me to explain. In addition to this four dimension, if we also have any another dimension to ask, to clarify, then I will be giving you opportunity to ask those things, and will also from my side will revert back on those questions. This optional subject will start from what is public administration, and it's one of the most popular optional subject in the civil services preparation, and it's one of the competitor subject is political science and IR. That's why so many students have a concern that is it political science, is it different from political science. So in general sense, we remember this subject has emerged out of the political science only. We have the subjects like history, geography, sociology, but public administration is one of the subject in which we generally even do not have the graduation degrees also from various universities. Very limited universities are conducting the graduation courses, and masters also now is available. And UPSC introduced this subject from 1989 onwards. So that means just 24-25 years history exists for this subject in this competitive exam. But this is one of the most successful subjects since its introduction. We may be aware about a subject called business studies or management. So business studies or management is generally in the context of business organization. But what about the government organization? Means we have to run the administration of the government or government companies, like we use the term PSUs for that purpose, public sector undertakings. So the administration of the government is what you call public administration. That means in this subject, public administration, the word public represents what? Answer? Government, not the general public. That is why government administration. And as you all are aspiring for the civil service exams, after the success in this exam, you will be working as an administrator, and that administrator will be working in public administration only. That means this subject is about management of government organizations, management of government institutions, management of policy implementation, role in the policy making. Being an administrator, we will be making the policies in future. So how the policies are formulated, what is the process followed in the policy formulation. Even when you are reading your newspapers on a day-to-day basis, is it? You read the judgments from the Supreme Court. Very recently, last week, there has been a judgment between the Delhi government and the LG that who will control the civil services in Delhi now. It will be the state government with respect to the transfers, posting. Now, these things become part of the syllabus of public administration as well as your polity and governance. So in general way, your public administration is government administration. And by reading this subject, by going through this subject, we will understand how the government functions, what is the process of governance, who is responsible for policy making, who is responsible for policy implementation. And in case maximum of us sitting here in the classroom program, attending from the online one, our first preference is which services? IAS, IPS, IFS, isn't it? Usually we try to focus upon all India services. As a result, being an IAS, when we are going to work in the field, we will be working from the office of district administration. roles, responsibilities of the district administration, implementation of law and order, maintenance of law and order. These are also become part of your futuristic role. And when you understand that what is the function, how to perform these function, these things becomes part of the syllabus. The syllabus for your public administration by the term district administration. So in general, your public administration is about government administration, and it's mainly going to focus upon Indian administration, plus it will also help you to develop managerial skills. Think about it. We as an administrator have to get the work done. We as an administrator has to get the work done rather than doing ourselves. That means our postings are more on higher administrative levels, is it? And being a higher administrative level, we have to focus mainly upon managerial skills. Getting things done is what the higher management used to do, and that's why the term is administration. In general also, this term administration means what? To manage the affairs. Is it? To manage the affairs. Now, not that affairs which is used in the contemporary context. To manage the affairs, either they could be public or they could be private. When it is private, it becomes your business administration. And when it is public, it is your government administration. Isn't it? So that what part of public administration is only confined to what? Government administration. Government administration will be divided into two parts, that is paper 1, paper 2. So through paper 1, we will get an understanding of administrative theories, administrative concepts, which will help us to develop managerial skills. Because this subject is even taught after selection. That is its uniqueness. It's a part of the training, and during the foundation course of the training, this subject is again taught. Why? So that the student who may be coming from the various other educational background, they will also develop administrative skills. They will also develop managerial skills. And as a result, this managerial skills, technical skills, or getting things done is concerned, this is what is also taught in the management field, business administration. So in paper 1, we generally have the focus upon thinkers portion. These thinkers are managerial thinkers. These thinkers are administrative thinkers. So they will help us to develop our administrative or managerial skills. That is our paper 1. And paper 2 is purely about Indian administration. It does not cover thinkers in general, but understanding of paper 1 can be used in paper 2 while writing our answers. And that part, that is Indian administration, have lot of overlapping with the general studies portions also. That is an area which will help us to understand why to choose public administration. First part was what is public administration. I hope I'm clear on this, and now we are also clear on that point, that public administration is government administration, which will help us to understand the process side, procedure side of the government. What government do, how government do, why government perform this function, and when they perform this function, what are the different type of parameters they will be following. And understanding of this will even help us to work as a good administrator. Because at the end of the day, when either we are working as an IAS, either we are working as an IPS, we all have to perform administrative or managerial functions. And at that point of time, you will be focusing upon some of the basic functions like planning, organizing, staffing, direction, coordination, control, and budgeting. 7 terms are there. And these all are called managerial functions. Imagine planning for the government. So planning for the government is done through a process or the agencies which are called secretariats. Every ministry will have secretariats or directorates. So secretariat will be policy making body and directorate will be policy implementation body. And understanding of this can help us to understand the process of policy making, policy execution, and this is something which is also in our syllabus of polity and governance, GS paper 2. Here also it's a part and parcel of our syllabus. So government procedure, government working is entire part of public administration. This is what you call what is public administration. With respect to this, if we have any doubt, any confusion, we are free to clarify. Is it? You are free to feel free to ask your question with respect to this. Those who are attending online, you feel free to type your query so that I can incorporate your doubts with respect to this discussion only. What is public administration? Hope it is clear for us what is public administration in general. So it is more about the government administration or management of government organization. It includes ministries, it includes departments management, it includes even the government companies which you call PSUs. Is it? PSUs is also some topic we have in our GS portions also. Which portion of GS? PSUs. And this is how I will teach also in the class. So I'll keep asking this thing so that we can also have this promptness also gradually develop in that idea. Just as a guess only, I'm expecting an answer. Governance or economics? Both. Impact of LPG on PSU? That is economics. And PSU as a subject can be a part of implementing organizations of the government and can be a part of the governance portion. Sometimes we read in the newspaper or the political protests are making issues, government is selling everything, privatization, or sometimes controversial statements also that government has sold the railways as well. However, nothing has been done in that case. Selling is privatization thing. Nothing has been done in that way. It is only about PPP, public-private partnerships. Or by understanding of this subject, we can even link 2 years back to 3 years back, government bought a bill with respect to that agricultural reforms. And the government was planning that there could be more markets. Private sector can also come forward and government will run their APMC and private sector can also be part of the agricultural market. And that way, there will be more institution to deliver the public goods and services. But it has become a matter of controversy that government is closing down APMC and only the private sector will be getting the benefit of these bills. That is wrong, conceptually wrong. PubEd says it is institutional pluralism. Institutional pluralism. That means more than one institution will be available to deliver public goods and services. As a farmer, what is the choice I have to sell my product? Only APMC. But if I get an alternative market to sell the product, so I may gradually shift towards that market. But if government market is giving me better prices, I will go to the government. If private is selling me better prices, I will go to the private. So as a farmer, I will have a choice. But if you don't have multiple markets, then what is the choice left for me as a farmer? Only one market, that is government. And there only the government authorized licensee, that is called Arthiyas, they will be able to exploit the conditions. This is a view which you can alternatively develop by understanding of governance, by understanding of public administration. This is a thought process. That's why public administration is all about government administration. And here the term public represents government, not we. Is it? Generally, public is what? We are public is in that case. But when it comes to the subject, the public represents the government. So government administration is what you have, public administration. Now coming to the second most important dimension of this discussion, why? Why public administration? What is the benefit we are going to have, and how this subject is having an overlapping with the GS portion. And for that purpose, I'm using this board so that we can also simply apply. And sometimes we use this Venn diagram things. So let's say if we study this public administration, we will be having these two papers, paper 1 and simultaneously paper 2. This paper 1 is about administrative theories, which will help us to develop the managerial skills, administrative skills, public policy process, even the financial aspect also, which can be compared with the international practices. And that second part, which is public administration's paper 2, is purely about Indian administration. So here we will get an understanding of polity, constitution, and governance part. In fact, entire polity we can cover except fundamental rights and the citizenship kind of topics. Only that part. Otherwise, entire syllabus of your polity, constitution, and governance, we will have overlapping with the syllabus of public administration. In that case, one overlapping is with which paper? GS paper 2 with polity, constitution, and governance. What is the general weightage of polity paper out of 250 marks for polity, constitution, and governance in the GS? Paper is 250 marks. Out of that, polity, constitution, governance dominate for more than 60%. So somewhere between 150 to 175 is what is the weightage of polity, constitution, governance out of 250 marks. Here we will be having an overlapping in a range of 125 to 150, as I'm saying, except fundamental rights and citizenship thing. If we remove these two parts, then remaining entire syllabus of the polity, constitution, and governance, we can also club under the Indian administration paper 2. That means union government, state government, local self-government. So your panchayats, municipality, district administration will get covered even with this paper of Indian administration. Then after paper 2 of the GS, we also have overlapping with certain parts even in the GS paper 3. Think about it. Yes, GS paper 3, which is generally not visualized by us, but this is also a factual concept that even with the GS paper 3, we will have overlapping, and this overlapping is limited when compared with the GS paper 2. Here, the concepts like, as I said, public sector undertakings, PSUs, plus planning process, so Niti Aayog, state planning boards, these kind of idea will be useful for this GS paper 3. Disaster management, hope that is part of GS paper 3. And security issues. So in PubEd we have units, law and order, administration. What is the role of police? What is the role of central paramilitary forces in the maintenance of law and order? What is the role of NDRF in the management of disaster? So disaster relief operations. These kind of portions are there with your GS paper 3, and they are also part of our Indian administration. That is why the overlapping part is very important to make a rational choice, that shall we go with this subject or we can just simply say a bye-bye without reading it. Then that's the idea, because if we choose it, we should be clear in our minds that what will be the benefit if we go through this subject from the basics. And then comes one more part. GS paper 4. If we go by the syllabus of this PubEd, we will find Civil Services Unit, Personnel Administration Unit. These two have a direct overlapping with the case studies and the roles and responsibilities we require in the ethics. For the GS paper 3, the weightage is between 60 to 80 marks only. Plus, whenever you talk about GST, GST Council, direct taxation, indirect taxation, they are related to the subject of public administration also. We have a unit called financial administration, and also we have a unit called financial management. In paper 1, we have financial administration, and in paper 2, we have financial management. They have a direct overlapping with that part of economics. Plus, disaster management was also there, and law and order administration was also there in the same portion. That is why this weightage is on a 60 to 80 side. And planning process. Earlier planning commission, NDC, some of the state have not yet created new planning machinery. They are still using state planning board. Central government have replaced planning commission by your Niti Aayog. But is all the state have replaced their state planning board? Answer is no. That means older planning process by the state is also continued, and the new planning process by the center has been introduced. They can be useful for this part, GS paper 3, and also having overlapping with our this portion of Indian administration. And when we go to this part, GS paper 4, here in the ethics paper, theory, and with also case studies. We have a direct overlapping of our syllabus. In PubEd paper 1, here, administrative theories and concepts. In this paper, we have a unit called accountability and control. That is unit number 5. I think you have a syllabus copy with us? Perfect. So in that, we have a unit called accountability and control, and that unit contains the topics like right to information, citizen charter. These are also part of the theory syllabus for ethics paper, and they are also there with our PubEd paper. Plus another unit is there called personnel administration. Personnel administration is also about human resource management, code of conduct, code of ethics. These kind of portion are also mentioned in that personnel administration unit. And we also have in paper 2 a unit called civil services. These 3 units, civil services from paper 2, personnel administration from paper 1, and accountability and control also from paper 1, have a direct overlapping with the syllabus of your GS paper 4. And if we add this weightage of case studies plus the theories part of this one, we have a weightage of minimum this marks, 150 plus marks is the weightage which you will get in this part. And a very surprising fact to remember, we have to study report of a body called ARC. This is generally prescribed that for the civil service preparation, you should cover Administrative Reforms Commission's report. That ARC earlier recommended to make PubEd as a mandatory subject, but government has refused it. To a release thing, government has refused this thing that we don't need to make it mandatory, otherwise what will happen to the other subject. And what is the reason not to make it mandatory? The reason to not make it mandatory was this overlapping, that we have already incorporated the portions and the syllabus of PubEd in the general studies. So there is no need to make it mandatory subject. Otherwise, it was proposed National Institute of Public Administration should be established, and the graduation will be done from there. It's like bachelor in public administration. That degree will be given, and they will be eligible to compete in the civil service exam. So what will happen to other university? So it was proposed other university can also run bridge courses, so that if somebody is doing MBBS, can do the bridge course and become eligible to compete in that examination. Someone is a commerce graduate, can do the bridge course and become eligible. But this recommendation has been rejected by the government on the grounds that we have already now incorporated the syllabus of public administration into the general studies. So there is no need to make it a mandatory subject. Let the subject be decided by the students according to their own wish. So the reason to reject that was this overlapping, isn't it? So technically we have overlapping with out of 4 GS paper in 3. And if we add the marks wise, then remember we are not reading it just for 500 marks. Weightage for the optional is 500 marks. But if we add this extra, one here, another this one, and this one third, do the maths. General mental ability you will be giving somewhere around 800 plus, and out of 1500, that's a weightage which you can have. That means if we invest a time also with this optional subject, we will be relieved from the extraordinary burden from unnecessary GS subject. It does not mean we should leave them, but at least we can make a calculated risk. We can make a rational approach that if some area is weaker on some part, I will focus more upon this portion of option and can work out more upon this area. When it comes to the success rate, because that's also important for why, success rate is ranging between this 8 to 10% of the candidates who appear with this option clears the exam. And this is equivalent to political science and IR, which is the only competitive subject of this optional. Otherwise, no other optional subject will have this much of weightage with GS. Think about geography. Geography may have a weightage with GS paper 1. And to some part, economic geography, which will be here, GS paper 3. But the other geography may not have that option. Sociology can have a benefit with the GS paper 1 and GS paper 2 with social justice and social issues, but may not have that much of the coverage from the administrative or managerial point of view. That is why the public administration as a subject, what is, that means government administration. And why? Because it has lot of benefit in the general studies. And to make this fact clear to all of us, I have shared these 2 sheets so that whatever we are discussing is available with us in the factual information form, and we can simply make a comparison that how this subject is having the overlapping. Every optional subject can claim that in the essay paper we get one topic. That can be claimed by the history also, that can be claimed by the political science. So as we can also claim one of the topic in the essay paper with the weightage of minimum 125 marks can also be related with the PubEd syllabus. So that is an additional weightage which we can have. That is applicable for not just us. That is applicable for other optional subjects as well. But this type of coverage or overlapping is only with one optional, that is political science and IR. But political science and IR will have focus or overlapping with this part here and this part, philosopher's part. But when you study political science, you will develop a mindset how to rule, because political science focus upon ruling. not managing. Public administration teaches us how to manage, how to run the system. Because politics can come, politics can make any statement, but who will be giving the clarifications of those statements? Will be the managerial mindset. That is why a politician can be educated or even uneducated, but the administrator is always coming from this examination. And this is why a politician who might not be educated enough, but still they have ego because their advisor is from All India Services. That's a concern. Being an administrator, our subordinates, they can be from the state civil services also. That is possible because the state PCS exams also have this kind of overlapping. And through state PCS, we get that highest postings like SDM in the initial time periods. And here we get that All India option. So as a result, means for us, we will get the assistant. But being a civil servant, we will be providing this assistance, advice, policy making, decision making to the politician who may or may not be a best brain available in the country, but we are the one who will be helping them to take the policy decision. That's why a good decision, a good advice is always supposed to be based upon facts, based upon the data. And that's what public administration will be helping us. There's a query. I'm just reading a query, and if it is related to your also, can even solve your concern as well. I had done my degree in the computer engineering. Is it okay to select public administration optional subject? Yes, I was coming on these type of issues only. See, if I choose history as an individual, is it these are the simple questions which come in our mind, that I'm a history honors student, I will go with the history. I'm a political science honors student, I will go with the political science. I'm a medical student, I will go with the medical science. This is what is the condition with whom I'm competing. So the student who is taking political science, large number of them have studied political science during their educational career. So that means they have an art of writing the answer, and I may be coming from science and competing with them. So maybe facing a challenge. Someone coming as a history or a history honors, maybe masters also, and then he is taking the history. For him, history will be easy. For me, it is initially a difficult thing. But what about PubEd? As I told you, various universities do not have the degree. Degree program is not there. Master program is also not there. So out of 100, 95 minimum, they do not know what is PubEd when they start preparing. So the competition will be more better, more appropriate in comparison to any another optional subject. And there is no restriction that if I'm a science subject, if I'm a science graduate, I cannot take PubEd. Those restrictions does not exist. In fact, large number of people who are opting for this optional subject, they are basically from other field of studies. They may be from non-humanities. That means commerce graduate can also be there. Science graduates can be there. Engineers can be there. Medical field students can be there. So why they shift towards this? There are two main reasons for this. Only we know how we have completed our degree. That is the biggest problem. So how we have completed our degree, if that is the reason, so definitely I will not go with my graduation subject, because that bad dreams will again come. Second thing, that subject may not have that much of benefit in the general studies. So if I go with this rationality, so in that condition, I can simply switch over from my existing towards this optional. These are the two basic criteria which are used by a maximum number of students to decide over the choice of optional subjects. One, either we go with our graduation subject because I'm confident enough in my subject and I just have to practice the answer. That is one. But the second idea is, will that subject have that much of benefit? If that is not happening, then I have to contribute twice. One for my optional preparation, and second, already I'm investing my time for the general studies preparation. That means I may have to work more harder in comparison to any another candidate. But if I'm choosing an optional subject which have benefit with the general studies, it will make my journey a little bit smoother, more beneficial, and with limited efforts I can have more amount of benefits associated for the preparation. That is why this overlapping part is more important to understand, and that I hope will answer why PubEd. That's a concern, that why PubEd will be more appropriate choice of optional subject for this preparation. And so many state PCS which still have the optional subject in the mains, they also have in offerings with this option. And some of the state which have ended the optional subject for the mains, they have also introduced this pattern, ethics paper in their state PCS. So we will have that benefit. Not just this, it will even help us to develop our skills for interview. Being an administrator, what reforms you can bring, how you can reform, those ideas we can develop through the understanding of managerial or administrative skills. This is an idea which is equally useful for choice of the optional subject. Hope you are clear with these two dimensions now. What is PubEd and why, or why PubEd optional is more appropriate. Let us take the queries also if there is a. It is done. Computer science optional subject rate, success rate is there. Despite interest, its success rate has been fluctuations in the past few years. Yes, this is true that in the past few years, the success rate has been fluctuated. It was mainly because 2 years consecutively, the paper was made more application based. I'm coming on that time. That's why this is still a question which is pending, and it is about how to approach with this subject. That can answer this one regarding this success rate and the fluctuation one. Will be answering that one. Since most of PubEd paper 1 questions are in inverted commas. Yes, inverted commas are a statements which are given by the various thinkers, and we have to make our opinion if it is asked in the form of comment or explain ideas. So we can answer according to requirement of the questions. How many faculties will be taking PubEd optional as a whole? Yes. Apart from me, there will be 2 more teachers who will be participating in the coverage of the syllabus, but maximum portion, 60% of the syllabus I will be covering. Entire this Indian administration part I will be covering, and few units of paper 1 also I will be taking. Apart from me, 2 more faculties, they will be taking together 40% of the syllabus. So in general, 3 teachers will be there. I have completed my graduation in mathematics. Can I choose PubEd? Yes, we can choose, as I already answered, that we can be from any field of education, either humanities, either science subject, or maybe from the commerce and accountancy. We have liberty of choosing this optional subject without any restrictions. But when you choose, just think about these benefits which are associated with the choice of optional. What are the books we need to follow? Well, come on that also with respect to how. Move on to next question. Done? Okay. How much time required to complete PubEd syllabus? The syllabus will be covered in a time period of around 5 months. 5 months. That is the standard time period, 5.5 months. That is the maximum duration, 5.5 months. Otherwise, within 5 months, the syllabus is supposed to be completed. Like we will be starting in the month of June. So maximum is November in order to complete the syllabus. That is the standard time period we will be taking. Can please compare success rate of other optional? But that will be going into some others domain. ऐसा लगेगा मैं उन्हें criticize कर रहा हूँ. But that is true. The success rate of other is also very nearby to this only. Some means so many people from the science field, they have in the mind that we can choose geography, and geography in terms of understanding is a very good optional, but we faces a problem with the data, with the structuring of answer, and the success rate is only this 5%. This is all based upon UPSC's annual report only, so I'm not making any success rate on my own. This is all based upon the annual report of the UPSC. You can even cross-check these things for yourself also. In annual report of UPSC, we find one table about the success rates of various optional subjects. So if around 200 students have taken the PubEd, out of that 8 to 10%, 20-24 students may have cleared in the final selection list. So that way the success rates can be identified. Sometimes 1,000 students are writing with the political science and 100 are clearing. Same way, success rate will become 10% in that scenario. So these things are decided, and this is based upon that factual information. Socio also has around 7-8% of the success rate as compared towards public administration. But again, as I told you, whenever you are choosing these optional subjects, you will have to think over that subject on one side and GS portion on another. If I want to reduce the efforts, I will take that subject which have maximum overlapping. Sometimes it is a case that, oh, I like sociology and I'm going with this. No problem, we'll go with the sociology and think about the GS portion separately. Then I have to invest my efforts twice. I want to go with my science subject, no problem, go with this, but simultaneously have to work more harder for your general studies portion. That is a more rational choice. This is what also is based upon PubEd theory. Whatever I have explained you, this is called rationality in decision making. When we are taking a decision, there are two ways. One, faith. Is it? Sab Bhagwan bharose ho raha hai. So that is based upon faith, that it's my preference to decide. And second, based upon facts. Dono hi hai faith and fact. But faith will be your value preferences. And fact-based is analytical. And that will help you to take rational decision, which is based upon logic. Is it? Logical decision making. Sometimes government introduces some text, sometimes government abolishes some text. So they always take these decisions on the basis of some reports. Is it? That is why they become logical or illogical depending upon the situation. Means who can imagine that in India, people will be making payment of 10 rupee, 20 rupee by the scannings, apps. Is it? 5 years, 7 years ago, it was a distant dream. In fact, if somebody will ask that, see, I can buy a samosa and make the payment through QR code scanning, so the samosa wala will simply refuse to sell samosa to you. Cash laye ho to milega, otherwise take the another shop. And after demonetization, means that could be a debatable thing whether it's a logical or not, because different mindsets are also there, pro-government, anti-government. But if that has been done, outcome of this is what? That even the small shopkeepers have shifted towards the digital payment systems, because it was necessity. Cash flow has been reduced to minimum. Big currency notes were introduced, and the problem of change was faced by the general public. And now even technology has also expanded. Inclusion of technology has also taken place. So even a small vendor is ready to accept the payment through QR code or direct transfer through the UPIs. That's the system. But a few years back, somebody may have said that, see, we will not make the cash payment, and the sellers were not willing to sell the product. So for them also, they will identify their decision based upon some logic. That's why rationality in decision making, so as the rationality with the choice of options. And then the next dimension we will go upon the how side. When we go for this how option, how to prepare for this. So one, we will be having a support of the study material. You're already aware about yellow booklets. For optionals, we will be having the pink booklets, isn't it? So yellow and pink, these are the two colors for us when we are going to prepare. Yellow for your general studies one, and this will be supported by the pink booklets. Plus, sometimes we have also in our mind that, see, I'm just reading this printed material, but I want to read some extra books. So for that purpose, we can have additional reference of the books. This is additional, and it is your choice whether to go with this or not. That is up to us, that a book we want to refer or not. In the class, we will be discussing the concern, and simultaneously we will also be preparing our class notes. That's also going to happen, so that when we are going for the mains preparation, we will have our limited number of booklets, and through our organized class note system, we can cover this in a limited time span. Plus, sometimes additional reports are also there. Budget is also every year going to come. Budget is also part of our PubEd syllabus, financial administration, CAG reports. These are also equally important for us. So in those cases, we will be having our extra leaflets like we have shared today, that whatever we are discussing is provided also in the form of additional support, so that maybe we have joined later, maybe we have joined early, and we wanted to cross check, go through this information. This leaflet will be helping us to understand later on in a detail over the same portion, and we can rethink, we can add more concepts also within our material. So in that ideas of preparation will go with this one, our material one. Second thing, additional choice of references. Maybe limited number of books will be there, but there is no single book which can cover entire syllabus. That's the point of view. Entire syllabus can't be covered by just one single book, and there's a logical reason for this. The syllabus of any optional subject covers graduation level plus at least few topics from the masters. Means MA first year kind of portions are covered in the syllabus of every optional. Either it is science subject, either it is our humanities subject or a commerce subject. The syllabus is of graduation plus few topics of the master. So have you studied only one book throughout the 3 year or 4 year of your graduation? So how can we have only one single book for this optional also? That's why around 3 to 4 extra references are there. That is the maximum we will go. Is it? And but it is also again the same idea. It's a matter of choice to refer. If you are reading this pink booklet in detail, it is sufficient enough also with class notes and leaflets. That is a thing. Second important idea with respect to this how is, we will be covering here in our classes, one idea is from Constitution. Indian administration is incomplete unless and until we discuss constitutional provisions. Because constitutional provisions will give you what is the status of governance according to Constitution. Then whatever the central government or state government is doing, you can compare it with the constitutional status to make your opinion who is right or who is violating the Constitution. That is the second dimension. So as a result, Constitution, concept plus current affairs from the newspaper. This is the sequence we have to cover specifically for Indian administration. Indian administration part. Thinkers part is a static part. That's also part to be how, again, for how purpose. This is equally important. Syllabus of PubEd, some of the parts are static. So whatever the management thinkers, management philosophers have said, that will remain constant. Is it? Maximum of them are not alive, so their statements will not be changed by any another. As a result, whatever has been said by the classical thinker will remain same. Whatever is said by the behavioral thinker will remain similar. And some of the thinkers are situational thinker, which can change their stand according to the situation. So that part is generally a static part. And dynamic part, is usually our Indian administration part, where if like day before, yesterday only, election results have been declared for the state of Karnataka for assembly. Some by-elections results also have been declared for Lok Sabha seat also, as well as MLA seats, as well as local cell government results have been declared. So Election Commission will be saying thank you to them because EVMs have not been hacked, as Congress has won the elections in the state of Karnataka. If they may have lost, EVMs were hacked. ऐसा ही कुछ statement हो रहा है पिछले few years से, according to the different states. Now that hacking part is something which is the statements made by the political party, and that thing is something which is irrational. So what constitutional status is given to the Election Commission, what is their role and responsibility, and how they are managing their work will be part of that current affair. So collection of these three is what we require for dynamic part. That's a concern. Thinkers, philosophers part is usually here. Static part. Policy, public policies. Public policies is also a part of paper 1. But if new policies introduced by the government, like we study about local cell government in the general studies, panchayats, municipalities, is it? So constitution has articles, concept of panchayat, municipality. But what if I say Rashtriya Gram Swarojgar, no, not Swarojgar, Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. Hindi name has been given because current government promotes Hindi. So Rashtriya Gram Swaraj. Gram Swaraj is village, republic or self-rule. Swaraj, self-rule. So village republic is to be empowered. So to empower them, government has introduced this program. Now that is something which is current affair, can be expected in the portions of the puppet. If this is how we will cover, then the same exam, same question paper will appear easy. But if we haven't covered Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, then the same question is out of the syllabus or the paper was too difficult. This is the problem with this subject. That's why this kind of hype is created that marks are not scored in this subject. Which optional can give you 100% marks? 50, 60% is the marks. So as here, 60% marks can be achieved by the simple coverage of these three. And if we follow this activity in the same sequence, we will be able to develop the best possible opinion even for the interview. That's a concern. Plus, when we are going to cover the syllabus here, we will include previous year questions also, so that we can practice. This can be given in the form of assignments, so that throughout the syllabus we can practice some questions also, and later on we can simply cover the test also in detail. But writing one question, two question on a weekly basis can keep us on the right path for our proper preparation. So this previous year question will be a part of our discussion on regular basis. At least weekly, 1 or 2 assignments we can follow. Otherwise, like the previous year questions or the current year exam, that is also to be included, so that whatever you study, you will be able to develop your thought process, collect that information and structure the answer, because writing part is equally important for this optional. And when you have more information, it will be the bigger challenge how to write it precisely. We have a habit of writing 5 pages, 6 pages answers, is it? But how many good lines you write on each page? That is more important. 5 pages answer, so approximately you have written around 2000 words. But how many good lines were there on each page? 3 lines, 4 lines, rest is all added portion just to explain. Adjectives are also added to make the answer look more language preference basis. Here just pick those 3-4 lines from each page, and that has to be written in a precise manner, so that 200 words, 250 words answers can be written. That is an idea. That means if you develop the writing practice on regular basis, precisely we can have the previous year question and we can develop the art of writing our answers. This is also part of our how approach. This is from my side. Whatever other ideas you wanted to get from this, you are free to submit your queries also. And those who are attending here in the classroom, you are also free to raise your concern. Hope I'm clear in terms of what is static part. So static part is thinker's portion. The thinker have said some statement, it will remain same. And dynamic part, some units from paper 1 are also dynamic, but maximum paper 2 Indian administration is something which is a part of dynamic. And why? Because something is happening across the states. Sometimes some governor, they invite second largest party to form the government. So that is wrong done by them. Some governor invited single largest party to form the government. So they have done their constitutional duty. This is something prescribed by constitution and the judgments given by the Supreme Court. So in that case, governor may be an agent or may not be an agent. And this is one of the regular or most preferred question for interviews. Is it? Even in the mains also expect that type of question, because these days governor are more in the debate and discussions. What if governor has to attend some function, which are official functions, maybe by Labasna, and the state government refuses to give him the plane, which is purchased from taxpayers' money? It happened in state of Maharashtra. Earlier there was an MVA government, Mahavikas Agadi government, and Maharashtra governor wanted to attend the Labasna function, which was for the interaction with the All India service officers. He was a special invitee, and the state government said, there are no clearances to fly. So buy your ticket and go through the private airlines. Maharashtra plane will not be allowed to the governor of a state. So was it a private plane purchased by the chief minister from his own pocket? Or these kind of confrontation will simply make your governance process more complex? It is politicization of the system. This is what we develop through newspaper discussion and concept from the constitution side also. That is the part of how. We will get leaflet or books including the current affair related to previous PubEd syllabus. Yes, if you are attending the online classes, we will upload the same leaflets on the portal, and you can simply feel free to follow it according to your convenience. Plus, the class lectures are also available on the recordings. So in case we have missed a class, we can simply go through the recordings also to cover the same portions same day. Usually recordings are uploaded for the optional by the next day. So within a span of just one day, we can cover the pending portions that is suitable for us. I have done undergraduate in law and masters in public policy and governance. How does PubEd have edge over PSIR? As I'm confused because I have studied enough syllabus of both the subjects in the past. For you only, I have made the diagram, overlapping part. That can help you to decide over this portion. And for this part, PubEd, when I'm saying the thinkers, so we have just around these number of thinkers. Political science have triple. Minimum 50 are there, and these thinkers are management thinkers, so they don't have so many bigger ideas. But when it comes to the political science thinker, they become more vague, because there will be the British thinkers also, German also, as well as the Greek also. Multiple group of thinkers are there with that political science syllabus. And if that is the close competition with us, then remember please, political science syllabus and PubEd syllabus. That's a concern. Means this subject PubEd has emerged from this only, political science. In fact, in the present time period, in so many universities which are running political science honors, they are still teaching PubEd as one of the paper in the second and final year of the political science syllabus. That is why these two subjects have so much of overlapping, but it is more about management approach, and this is more about ruling approach. And being a civil servant, I require to develop this one, managerial approach or management approach in comparison to this part. That is also a point of view we should carry in order to make this decision. Hope you are clear with this simple thought, because syllabus side is wider. It is also said it will help you to cover IR, because political science and international relation, PSIR, so complete 250 marks of the GS paper 2 will be covered. But the point is, how many countries are there in the IR syllabus for GS? Is it? What is the weightage for IR portion in the GS syllabus? That is just around 60 marks. 8 to 10 countries we cover, and we can simply have this. But what about PSIR? Scale of operations will be much wider in comparison to the requirement of the GS portion. That is why it is a very close subject with us, but we still have a benefit of more precise in comparison to political science. Do we have live classes in the evening? No, the class timing will be early morning, 7:30 to 10. So we need to wake up early to have the offline class. Otherwise, recorded lecture can be accessed throughout the day according to your own convenience. Because whatever we are discussing here, same is going to be recorded. So the approach will remain similar to carry that discussion according to your own convenience. Yes, please. Absolutely.
Because what the challenge was like, in most of the questions I was not able to decipher what was being asked. So how was I going to write?
Correct. Because in this previous year question papers, that is why I'm saying that when we are going to cover the discussions in the classes, we will include the previous year questions also, so that quotations of the philosophers or thinkers can be discussed along with the terms, because the tail is entitled with the question elucidate, discuss, comment. So it gives you an opportunity that how to structure that answer. If it is comment, we are free to either support the statement or go against the statement, because that is your opinion. And our opinion is not our individual opinion. It is also to be based upon some thinker's philosophy, some rationality, because we are just a student at the present and we may not have that research idea. So whatever we are going to answer, we structure that opinion based upon the philosophers or thinkers of the public administration, and according to this commenting, we have a freedom either to support or go against the statement which is given. Then it could be elucidate. Elucidate simply means explain with example. Like it is there, we all look towards Supreme Court, is it? So for us, Supreme Court is an institution which will deliver justice. But now imagine if I ask this way, that discuss the administrative role of Chief Justice of India. Think about it. Discuss the administrative role of Chief Justice of India. Now in that condition, he will be performing division of work, because it is CGI who will decide which bench will have which judge. If it is about security issues of the Supreme Court, installation of CCTV is required. So CGI will discuss with the committee and will decide over that matter. So these things will be part of his administrative capacity. At that time, he is not delivering justice. Then there could be constitutional bench. He will be head of that constitutional bench, deciding with the collegium in the matters of appointment. So these type of insights we will develop according to the understanding of the portion. Same way, speaker of the Lok Sabha, chairman of Rajya Sabha, or chairman of the state legislative assembly. These days we are even getting the question even in GS. briefly discussed the role of the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So in that context, it is not just what is the function he is supposed to do, but he may perform some quasi-judicial function. So who will decide the disqualification of MPs of Rajya Sabha? Is it? This is a general way. But if you add the term, he is performing quasi-judicial function to decide over anti-defection law regarding the members' qualification or disqualification. Language become administrative. So from a general answer, the same statement is going to become now the administrative. And that is where the role of the coaching will come. That is where the supportive role from our side will come, that how to restructure. Number of time it happened, we know the concept, but the language we will be lacking in terms of administrative idea. That is why the combination of not just one, is it? The other thing is also included, so as the updates. And same is applicable for your ARC, Administrative Reforms Commission. They give 15 reports, but out of 15 for our syllabus also minimum 7 to 8 we are going to include in our class notes. One of the idea is we can get the summary of each report and we can start reading. But the best approach is when we study concept, at that side only, we should add the suggestions. Is it? Suppose one of the example can be used in this way. Government has to reduce the number of ministries and departments because the size of the government and its machinery is expanding. So on one side, you can use it politically, that you want to reduce the number of government jobs. But what if I quote there, second ARC recommended, government shall focus only upon core areas of law and order, core area of defense, core area of social inclusion, and unnecessary business activity shall be open for the private market also. So if I'm using that suggestion while writing my answer, it will enhance and help me to get 1 extra mark. Quality of answer will get further improved. This is what we will include in terms of discussion with our class notes, so that comprehensively we can prepare for this exam. Otherwise, once we are studying the subject, we are not covering this ARC reports, we again have to go through the same reports. It increases our burden of work. So when we come, we try to reduce the burden of our preparation, and more organized discussion can help us for more better understanding. Is it? That is the idea. So this is with respect to our how. If any another dimension we require with this, you are free to ask. I'm just taking the online query also in between. Yes, please. PYQs we will be discussing along with the classes. Test series will be conducted separately. Test series are conducted separately, and with the test series we will be having a total 6 tests, 4 sectional tests, and 2 will be comprehensive test with model answers. Yes, model answers will be there, and there will be a discussion after the test also. According to the requirement of the question, the discussions will be conducted. If you are able to attend directly offline, it is good. Otherwise, the recorded lectures will also be provided to all the students. That is with respect to the test series preparation. Okay? It is good to cover topic wise, because if suppose I'm just going through the previous year question and like the entire question is with me, and let's say I have only covered my thinkers, but the question is linked with certain portions which are in paper 2. So for same question will appear what very difficult to me. How come? Let's say there's a question, NPM, New Public Management, is dead. Long live the era of digital governance or e-governance. So point is, this is a combination of 2 topics. On one side is e-governance, other side is new public management. So new public management says adopt private sector practices in the public administration. What is to be done? How is to be done? Is it? So what is to be done and why is to be done? Government approach should be followed. Why the government will sell the rice at a price of 2 rupee per kg or 3 rupee per kg? Because welfare. How effectively you can reduce the wastage? That is private sector approach. So government is also doing these days outsourcing. Outsourcing in the sense we call it public private partnership. Who shall run the buses? Government. But shall the buses be run free? That's a debatable idea. But buses should be run. That is most important idea. So buses on profitable routes, private sector will definitely come. But buses on non-profitable routes, is it? What is the choice left? Government. We all require water. Water can be a concept of need and water can be a concept of demand. Is it? Drinking water, need for all of us. Mineral water, demand concept. And the moment it is mineral water, it ranges between 15 rupee to even 5,000 rupee per liter. Depending upon the ability to pay, there are different brands created in the country as well as across the world. So same point, it's water. But the thing is, on one side, it is basic necessity, and on the another side, it becomes a concept of demand. So government is also adopting this criteria these days. Imagine rail neer. So railway is also selling what? Mineral water bottles. And earlier they made a monopoly. Only rail neer will be available. Now they have also opted for the other alternative and they are giving that opportunity to other private sector. So this why is to be done? Government approach. How effectively you can do? Adopt the private sector practices. So if I'm answering this question in the exam, so on one side I will include NPM idea, but now government has also adopted e-governance. So the problem of delay is reduced. Problem of benefits of government services at your doorstep is also there, because while sitting at a home only, we are able to get the banking services done and other benefits also done. So this idea will be answered more appropriately by taking these two concepts together. Is it? But if I only focus upon NPM part, I will be doing injustice with that question. If I only support e-governance idea, I will be doing again an injustice. But briefly, I incorporate NPM. Briefly, I incorporate e-governance. Now I can answer the same question more comprehensively. That is why if we include the previous year question with the class discussion, it will reduce our workload and will help us to be more confident in structuring the answers. Initially, we need support to structure an answer, but after practicing 10 question, 15 question, we develop the skills. How to introduce the answer, how to go with the concept, how to structure the answer, and how to suggest solution. Suggesting of solution are also based upon reports, which will be ARCs or which will be any another CAG report or other administrative reports. They are always useful for our syllabus. They can even be suitable for your current affair. That approach we will follow. Yes, please. Yes. When we are approaching with this thinkers part, we have to focus upon first thing, conceptual understanding, and second is the fact. Which principle by which thinker is what we have to remember, that is fact side. And what is the idea of the principle, that is the concept side. Like division of work, is it? So entire work has to be divided in an organized manner. We also have this PubEd syllabus. So entire syllabus can be done by one person. But then what happened? Workload on upon one will enhance. Have to also go for the GS portions as well. So better idea, let's divide. Whosoever can deal with this subject more effectively, we should give that part towards that person. So that division of work reduces the workload. That is concept. But same principle is given by 2-3 thinkers. 2-3 classical thinkers. One of them is Taylor, Fayol. So when you are writing, you can mention the classical thinkers gave division of work. This is general answer. Taylor advocated division of work, or we should develop one best way of doing the work. That is specific answers. So same thing, but presentation of an answer will be more important. And if you develop synopsis for each thinker, it will be helpful for preparing a revision in a more appropriate manner, and that can help us to remember more thinkers, more principles, and remembering them as well as retaining that information at the time of writing the answer. That is a part of your class notes things, so that we will write here, and later on you can also make a synopsis of the same discussion for better revision. It will resolve your problem. That is an idea. How online student can take part in answer writing? Yes, online student can also write an answer and just send the email on the official mail ID. I will revert back, and the other teacher will also have to revert back after evaluating your answers. Do only offline have one benefit, they can give on paper. Online you will send your email, and we will be reverting back within 24 hours to 48 hours. That's how we will be participating in the answer writing regularly. How much classes in a week? Minimum 6, and sometime 7 also. Yeah, that's a concern. If we are lagging behind the syllabus, we have to work more. So rather than conducting 2 classes in a day, it is better to use Sunday. So at that time, we will have the 7 days classes. Initially, we'll be having 6. Will there be any batch for working professional, as early morning won't be feasible and recorded lectures will be unable the live interactions? Recorded lecture is an outcome of what we are discussing here in the class only. So it will be just like your live discussions only. Because according to your requirement only, that live lecture facility will be made available. Evening batches of PubMed are not available. It's only in the morning. Do we have live classes in the evening? Already answered. Is there a way for students who attend the webinar to get their hands on the leaflet distributed today? The leaflet will be uploaded. The leaflet which has been provided in the offline one, it will be uploaded. You can download it from the website. PubMed static are similar like economic stats. Yes, the statistics part of the PubMed is comparatively less than economics. That is true. Because for us, we require 2 major updates. One, budget. So if any increase of taxation, decrease of taxation, any new taxes have been introduced, that part is suitable for us. And fiscal policy, monetary policy. That is also useful for us because we have a topic financial administration. So in that part, we can use that information. Will there be leaflets? That is done. नीचे करिएगा, ऊपर ये आंसर्स हो गया है. डू वी हैव अ डेमो क्लास? ये अभी जो चल रहे डेमो ही समझिए. दिस इज अ काइंड ऑफ डेमो ओनली. Otherwise in webinar, who will use the board? Is it? I should come and interact directly only, but still I'm using this board because this is how we cover. This is how we teach. So just to get even a demo side only, ये जो discussion है, that NPM is dead, long live the era of digital governance or e-governance, that's a kind of a demo only for that purpose. And still you want to have a demo, then you can access to the recorded lecture. You can ask to the management for that purpose. That is possible. But that I cannot assure completely, but you can interact with the management with respect to this. How many classes? This is done. How online students will take part in answer writing? This is also done. Yes. Further, any other questions we have in our mind? Please.
How to discover the trend of topics coming from previous year questions?
Yes. This is why we follow the previous year questions, so that we can develop a kind of analysis. Remember, please, there are, let's say, total 150 topics. Is it? Go by that way. Let's say total number of topics will be 150 from paper 1, paper 2, both. Now, out of these 150 topics, in the exam, how many questions are there? Is it? So when you go by this idea of how many questions are there, so let's say in each paper you have the section A and section B. Question number 1 to question number 4. This is applicable for any optional subject. Let's say 5, 6, 7, 8. This is applicable for every subject. Now here we get a 5 questions. All are mandatory. This is also mandatory. Question number 5 and question number 1. And here also we have 5 10 marker questions. So each question carry 10 marks. 5 questions will be 50 here, 50 here. So these 2 questions are only which are mandatory. Then we have a choice. Choice is out of the remaining 6, we have to answer 3. Now this 3, minimum 1 from each. So it is your choice, 1:2 ratio. It could be 1:2 or vice versa, depending upon your own preferences. And these questions will have 3 subparts. So technically, how many answers we are writing in one exam? 5 plus 5, 10, 3. These 3 will have 3 subparts. So 9 plus 10. This is what you are writing. This is what we are writing in 3 hours time period, 19 questions. So technically, if I say 150 are the total number of topics, number of questions we will get here, how many? 3 plus 3, 9, plus 6, 18. 28 questions in one paper and 28 questions in another paper. That's how system will work. Paper 1, 28 questions. Paper 2, again, same way. Paper 2 will also have a same division. So in total 28 plus 28, 56. So 1:3 is the ratio. Probability rate 1/3 for every topic. But when we cover these in the classes, we will find some of the topics have 50% probability. So we will cover them accordingly. We'll give them more weightage. We will cover them in more detail. Some of the topic may have just 10%, 15% probability. We can give less weightage to them, less preferences to them. So these ideas will depend upon the coverage. And that's why these things will be covered gradually in the class. Because we have to cover these 150 topics in a span of 5 months. So every month, 20% of that importance will be given towards different topic. That's how systematically we can cover these area. And while doing it, we will realize which unit, which topic to be given more preferences. Let's say if we are studying thinkers, is it? There are 5 to 6 classical thinkers. But out of these 6 classical thinker, one thinker have 50% probability rate. Max Weber gave the concept of bureaucracy. So almost every next year, we get a question on Weber. But there are other thinkers also from classical, which could be Taylor, which is Fayol. But their probability may be 30%. There are other also, Gullake, Orvik, but their probability is only 5 to 10%. So now when you cover the things in the class, you can realize which topic to be given more importance, which topic to be given a lesser importance. But understanding of Gullake will be useful in paper 2, line and staff agency. Some are policy making, some are policy implementation. That part will be suitable for paper 2. And we can quote the thinkers of paper 1 while writing the answers in paper 2. If we develop this habit, we can score more marks. If we miss this habit, we will get an average score. This is how the coverage thing has to be performed. That is why thinkers will play a role. Directly, they will be in this portion, section A. But using of this knowledge in paper 2 will also help you to fetch an extra mark, because it's a competition. So we should not leave that opportunity of using thinker while writing answers in paper 2. Yes. Any another idea or any another doubt from our class regarding to this portion, or any another query we have, we are free to clarify. Hope I'm clear with this idea, how thing, when, last option and the last dimension, when to start. Right now, the next batch for the optional subject is going to start in the month of June. So if we start in June, apply 5 months time duration, it will be over by the November. If we start later in the month of October batch, then October batch goes till mid-March. And December onwards, you start feeling restless for prelims, because test series generally starts for the prelims by that time period. And that time we start thinking, shall I cover my optional or shall I focus upon GS? Despite the fact that we know our optional will have a weightage in the GS, but still at that time, there is a functional disorder. We forget that fact and we start thinking only about GS and the prelims. So unnecessarily we miss number of classes. Then we go for the recorded lecture and other thing as a backup. But if we start in the month of June, we don't have to face that pressure. We can attend one GS class and one optional class, and gradually we can cover that optional syllabus in a span of 5 months. But that later on batch of October-November time period will have a pressure. And that pressure is what I was explaining you now, that GS and the test series, which generally starts in the December or January month, will create extra pressure. That shall I cover my GS? Shall I give time to my optional subject? Or I can focus upon the test series? Then there will be a number of issues we will face to give preferences. That is also an idea. So when it is about when idea, we should start in the month of June to comfortably cover the syllabus by the November. In these 5 months, we can practice answers, previous year questions with the classes, and we develop this our answer writing skills. This is the ideal preparation duration for your optional subject. That is one. Yes. Any another one? Is there a way for student who attended the webinar to get the hands? I already suggested it will be uploaded on the system, and then you can download from there. The names are very interesting. Unboxing Sarkar. Okay. And these things are generally considered as pseudonymous identities. When we keep these names, these are pseudonymous identities. Sometimes we have anonymous, we don't have even name and it's just a character is presented. So do remember, these are also administrative terminology useful for law. Means if I have to criticize the government, being a civil servant, I don't have a liberty. I cannot criticize. So some of us have a habit of using these names, and through these names, through these pages, we criticize the government. But remember, government can track you. And then the case will become what? You have adopted a pseudonymous name in order to criticize the government, despite the fact that you are part of the civil services. So right now, though, this discussion is possible. But after selection, the same name will become a challenge for you. So do remember this as well. Please give introduction of other teachers. Yeah, the other two teachers will be one, Amit sir will be dealing with 3 units: civil services, personnel administration, and introduction unit. And Satvir sir will also be there. Satvir sir will be dealing with the thinkers portion. So around 6-7 units he will be taking, and 3 units Amit sir will be taking. Remaining 12 plus 3. 15 units, 15-16 units out of 26 unit syllabus I will be covering. Entire Indian administration is my part, and from paper 1, 3 units administrative, this accountability and control, plus delegated legislation and financial administration. These portions I will be taking. So the work is divided right now in this way. Is it? That's how we will be covering. But remember, out of your overall syllabus, this is my coverage. That's why I was given the opportunity to interact, and Satvir sir was not available today, so I'm taking the entire discussion on his behalf also, and taking example from thinkers portion, which he was supposed to discuss. Yes. Any another point? Those who are attending in the classroom, if you have any another doubt, you are also free to ask. 8 to 10%. Because the number of seats which have to be filled, they are also limited. Let's say there are 100 seats. So the number of candidates who are writing the exam will be around 15 times than the available seats. So if 100 seats are there, 15 times, 1500 students are appearing. If 1000 seats, 15,000 students are appearing. But everyone may not take PubEd. That's why there's a list of 22 optional subjects. Some even come from the literature. You know, sometimes with literature, there's a very unique characteristic. One person was attending from the literature mains and he selected. So success ratio was 100%. But can we decide accordingly? Because it was Malayalam literature. I don't know Malayalam. Can't opt for Malayalam. That's what is reason. So this ratio may differ from subject to subject, but from the most common subjects, which are geography, history, political science, public administration, and your also sociology, which are most opted subjects. Out of them, we have a very respectable success ratio, which is similar to the political science. But if we are looking for lesser efforts, we can go with PubEd. If we want to cover more thinkers, more international relation portion, we can go with the political science and IR, because there is a lot of similarity between the two, and this subject has came out from political science only. Earlier, there was choice of two optional subjects. That time you can't choose PubEd and political science together, because one paper was common Indian administration. So there were restrictions at that point of time. This is why overlapping exists between the two optionals. See? That's it. Any another query we have? Please don't carry the questions with you. Clarify here only. I tried from my side what are the possible questions, what are the possible doubts can be there. So in case if I'm missing, you are free to clarify. We can clear here only, and later on we can decide over this areas. From online also एक बार check कर लेते हैं questions को, छूट ना जाए. Already done. It's also done. Move करते हैं. ठीक है. Next. What are the books we need? Already we will be discussing that one in the class. Just 3 to 4 books are the maximum one, and most of the time our books are common with some of the polity portions as well. Only thinkers part we will be having a separate book. Can you please compare success rate? Already done that one. Apart from coaching classes, should we read the standard books also? Yes, already answered. NCERT needs to be completed before joining PubEd. Means we don't NCERT if we have to read, then please read business studies books of class 11th and 12th. They are commerce books only. Taylor, Fayol, these kind of thinkers can be there in the class 11 and 12. Commerce books are there, business studies only, that can provide you the basic insight with the thinkers portion. But that will be written from business administration's point of view. When you go for the government, you have to think about government institution and their problems in terms of implementation. Done. Kindly make the videos available after the live session. Okay, this will be done. It's an administrative point. Book list. How are you? Long time to see. Okay. Previous year questions will be discussed in the class. Already done. Move kariye. Leaflets, booklets, done. Move on. It's already answered. Answered. How many classes in a week? Already answered हो गया वो भी. Done. Does huge competition within a subject have impact on the results? Yes, that is always there. If there is a competition in a subject, that's why I gave that example. If I'm taking history as an optional, I'm a history graduate, let's say, so I will be competing with those people who have already done the history. And imagine I am a student who have not studied history at all. So my competition will be with those who already have done the masters as well. I have to start from scratch and they are already standing ahead of me. But with the PubEd, the benefit is what? Out of 100, 95 do not know what is PubEd at the time of starting their preparation. So competition will be more appropriate and your efforts can make it more easy, or lack of efforts can help you to make it only average. Average will still be there, means it's not that it is out of the understanding because of the overlapping with the GS. So some portion we cover with options, some we even cover with the GS also for additional benefit. Is it same Satvir sir who teaches internal security in GS? Yes. He's already taking the internal security portions with the institution. So he will be taking the parts of the thinkers portion. Does the subject cover law also? I mean, Bayer Act. Bayer Act may not be covered for all the topics, but Bayer Act can be covered for the topics like RTI, where we have a direct questions. So in that way, this can be covered. But not all the Bayer Acts. But for constitution side, yes, we will incorporate maximum article related to our syllabus. Union government, state government, and local self-government, we will include all of them. Yes. Any another question we have? So we can end this. Or if in case we have a doubt, we can further extend. Otherwise, we can end the discussions. Okay, then all the best for all of you to make a rational choice. In case we choose the PubEd, we will meet here in the classes for further discussion. Good luck to all of you.